Happy New Year, beautiful. It is so nice to see you guys today. I cannot believe I'm filming. I was in that weird space where do I go back to YouTube or do I just pretend like that didn't happen? And I knew if I did not film today that I wouldn't film. I wanted to vlog today, but I'm really not in the mood for that. So I thought that I would just talk about books today. Okay, let me just say this right here. You guys know that the way my job is set up, we are really busy in the month of January. And this year, busy was not quite the word for it. It felt sadistic at some points. Yeah, it was real. I was not okay. Let me just say that I was not okay. So from about December 20th to about January 20th, it was just not okay. So I tried to pick up a book the first, like I had my goals, like reading everything light, everything fun. So starting off January, we're gonna hit this ground running. We're gonna pick up something light, we're gonna pick something easy, we're gonna pick up a black female author. So I picked up from the library K.M. Jackson's How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days. I've been hearing a lot of buzz about this online, and like I said, it just seemed so much fun. So I thought, okay, this is what we're gonna do. You guys, I picked this book up. What page did I get to? Girl, y'all, I got page 12. I'm talking about from the 1st of January. Actually, it was January 3rd specifically. I remember because it was a Monday. And even though my company was closed and I'm off on Monday, so technically I wasn't working, I picked up this book that morning and started reading it. And then I had a chiropractic appointment. And while I was at the chiropractic, my manager texted me, "Are you working today?" I was like, yes, but right now I ain't at home. So that's just how it was. And so I couldn't get back to this book because it was just so busy, and because of my headspace, the first few pages confused me. And it could be the book, but I can't give it all to the book because y'all, life was tripping. Okay, so I decided to extend it from the library, and so technically this is now on my February TBR. Today is February 1st, so I'm actually going to, after work today, pick this back up. I'm filming on my lunch break. So after work today, I'm gonna pick this back up and start reading again. So technically I DNF'd this in the month of January, but I want to read it again. So because I couldn't sit down and physically read, I thought, girl, you better get your audio books on deck. And so that's what I did. I took some time and just sat down and pulled some books that I wanted to listen to from the library in the theme of keeping it light and keeping it with black female authors. I pulled out Body and Soul Food by Collette. This is an audiobook. Listen, this narrator was not good. Okay, I loved the story, but I felt like this book was 2 hours too long. The narrator was not good, but I finished it because I love the dynamic of this as a cozy mystery. You know, all genres, unless it's the black author genre, doesn't have diversity, right? So historical romance is no diversity. Cozy mysteries, no diversity. So whenever I can find a black author or a person of color, I try to pick those up just to get just some variety. So I wanted to read Collette because she has two cozy mystery series. One is about an ice cream shop. I DNF'd the first book in that one because I just wasn't vibing with it. I am going to go back to that series, but I wasn't vibing with it at the time. And this one is a new one. This is the most unique cozy mystery setting that I've ever read because it's twins, the girl and the boy. They're brother and sister. They were in the foster care system. The girl was adopted and the boy stayed in the system his entire life. But someone at the foster home remembered when the boy was brought in and told him that he had a sister. And that person, they became like best friends, like brothers. And so that person, I can't remember nobody's name right now. That person helped him find his sister in real life. I mean, find his sister. It's not real life. Find his sister. They connected. They ended up opening a restaurant bookstore together because she was a librarian. She loves to read, just devour books, and he was just an excellent cook that he learned from one of his foster parents of how to be a really good cook. Listen, I've never seen or read a cozy mystery that starts off like that. Like, that is so unique, their dynamic. So I was like, okay, this is great. Even though immediately the narrator was getting on my nerve. Let me tell you how bad this narrator was. At one point when she was changing her voices, you could hear her pinch her nose and the sound come out nasally. I was like, this is so bad. And the way she read it, I just thought, I finished it because I literally couldn't physically hold a book because I was just like so busy, but it was so irritating. But I wanted to know what happened because the person that she killed in the beginning, I was like, what? You killed this person? I was like, okay. Like I said, it's a good book, but the next one, you guys, I have to read it. I can't deal with that narrator again. I just can't do that. So after listening to that, I just thought, Jesus, man, I cannot deal with that. Last year, I had come across a book by, what's her name? Holy crap. I'm gonna pop the name up on the screen right here because it's completely leaving me. It's a Black female author, and she writes for Harlequin Romance. And I found myself last year reading a book about one of the Westmoreland men. Let me tell y'all something about the Westmoreland men. I found myself in a 4-book-in-a-row audio book series with the Westmorelands, all out of order. I'm listening to all. It doesn't matter what order you read it in. Okay. The Westmorelands are a wealthy Black family that have just a ton of people. There are brothers, there's cousins, there's like, it's so many, like there's the Texas Westmorelands, the Atlanta Westmoreland, like these Westmorelands are everywhere, okay? And they each have different things. Some of them, like there's an ex-Texas Ranger, there is a sheep farmer, there is a one man who kind of saves wild horses. One of them is just like a wealthy millionaire who likes to accumulate land. Listen, so they're cattle ranchers. They do all kind of stuff. The Westmorelands are so sexy that I'm slick thinking about moving out west just to see if it's some Black cowboys out there for your girl. Listen, I had so much fun with this series because the narrator, Ron Butler, how do I remember the narrator's name but not the author? That's how good he was at reading this book. I'm gonna tell y'all something though, the Westmoreland men, it got steamy in them. I'm gonna tell you the ones I read in a minute. It got steamy and it had your girl calling the wrong person. Yes, it did. So just take that word of caution. Okay, let me tell you about the books. The first one I listened to was Hot Westmoreland Nights, which was Ramsay and Chloe. So Ramsay owns a sheep farm. He has a ton of men under him. He's really well off. And Chloe wanted him to be on the cover of her magazine. So Ramsay, his cook had to take off and take care of some personal things. So Chloe, he wouldn't do the magazine. They reached out to him and he wouldn't do the magazine. And so his sister was like, Ramsay, you got to do the magazine. And he was like, I'm not doing it. And so the woman who owns the magazine, name is Chloe, she decided she was going to go talk to him. She went to talk to him on the day that his cook didn't show up, and so he was in a bad mood because the cook was late from the agency and she was late. So he was just like, everything you need is in there, blah blah blah. He didn't even ask her who she was or anything like that. He just thought she was cook. So of course, because it's a romance novel, Chloe knows how to cook for a lot of people, even though she owns her own magazine. So it went on and went on and went on. And when I tell you Beverly, is it Beverly Jenkins? It's not Beverly Jenkins. Who wrote this? Brenda? Somebody. I'm gonna put the name on the screen. Sister knows how to write a steamy scene. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. And she knows how to write a black man, too. Ooh. Ooh. I'm drinking ice latte today because I knew I was going to be talking about the Westmorelands. I said, we don't need no more heat. We don't need no more heat. This was really, really good. So the next one I listened to was Cole's Red Hot Pursuit. This one was about Cole Westmoreland, and the woman's name was Patrina. Patrina had been married to her high school sweetheart. She grew up in somewhere where it's really cold and in the mountains. Montana, I think. The Westmoreland's everywhere, y'all. And so she grew up there, and she married her high school sweetheart, but he was a ranger, and he got killed in the line of duty. So she was just still grieving. It had been years. So a year before, so they met at a wedding, at one of the Westmoreland weddings, and Cole was like, who is that? And they was like, that's Patrina, but her husband died and she's not interested in all that because Cole himself was a ranger. So a year later, he was going to visit some family. He was in a car accident, and she found him and brought him to her house. She's a doctor, so she brought him to her house, and he already liked her, but she really didn't know it. She thought he was attractive, but she was just like still caught up on her husband. Let me just tell y'all one thing about Patrina. When she got her little taste of Westmoreland, she realized that she really didn't know what the thing really could do. And she was like, wait a minute. I'm telling y'all something. This is when I started sending out the text messages. Hey, I ain't talked to you in a while. What you up to? I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. So the next one was Taming Clint Westmoreland. This was about Clint and Alyssa. So Clint used to be a ranger as well, and he had a partner. He had like an undercover operation, and Alyssa was married to him in the undercover operation. She was a cop as well, a ranger. I can't remember where they lived. And they had gotten married just on paper for the operation of this thing, in case the people who own this thing like did background research on the two of them, it would show that they were legally married. So the Bureau didn't annul their marriage. So years later, 5 years later, Clint and Alyssa are actually still married in real life. So they go to the Bureau to say, hey, we ain't even seen each other. This ain't been consummated. We're not going to do none of that. So they have a new bureau chief who believes in the sanctity of marriage and tells them they have to stay together for 30 days before she will annul their marriage. They stay together for 30 days. Steamy stuff happened. Beautiful, beautiful story. All very unrealistic, but I don't care. I love it anyway. And then I had listened to one more Westmoreland story. The next one I listened to was Spencer's Forbidden Passion. Let me tell y'all something about Spencer. He was the biggest asshole of, now all of the Westmoreland men are assholes, but I'm attracted to that. So he was the biggest one. And y'all, I liked him the best. Spencer is a multi-millionaire, and he had come across a piece of land that he wanted in the California Napa Valley. It was a vineyard owned by a black family. Hello. They're actually black-owned wineries in real life. Google it. Anyway, he owned this. He wanted to buy it, and so the family there was having financial trouble, so they wanted to sell it to him. But then the daughter comes home from college, and she's like, oh, no, this is the only home I know. We are not finna sell this. Oh, no. So Spencer almost already had this land, and then when she swooped in, he was like, what? No, I don't like that. So they went to meet in person, and her name was Chardonnay because her grandfather named her after his favorite wine. And so he was like, that's your real name? He had the nerve to be like, that's your real name. So anyway, when he laid eyes on her, he decided that he wanted to marry her because he wanted her to have his children. The Westmoreland men believe in marriage. They believe in the sanctity of marriage, and they believe in multiplying. That part I can't get with, but everything else, I love. So he wanted her to have, he told her, you can be, if you agree to marry me and have my children, I will let you keep the vineyard. You can do anything you want to do with it, blah, blah, blah. But there will be no love. She was like, wait a minute. This is a loveless marriage? He was like, yes, this will be a loveless marriage. And she was like, I got to think about that. And then so the story went on. Steamy, 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 steamy. So good. Loved it. Loved the Westmoreland series. Loved listening to it. Cannot wait to finish it and read more. So I actually made it through one physical book this month. It took the entire month to read 374 pages. Typically, on a good Sunday, I can do that in one day. Y'all, it took the whole month. That's what was going on around here. That's how it was around here. It took the whole month. The Unhoneymooners by, is it Christina Lauren? I think is the name of the authors. 2 women authors that wrote this. You guys, this was so good. I actually finished reading it yesterday. It was so good. I loved it. I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodread. So earlier when I was talking about the misunderstanding trope, that really, I don't love that. This definitely had a misunderstanding trope, but because Ethan and Olive were okay arguing with one another, the misunderstanding was a little bit easier because they just would say how they felt and what they thought when they finally got a chance to come together. So Amy and Olive are twin sisters. The book is from Olive's perspective. Dane and Ethan are brothers. They're not twins, but they're brothers. Amy and Dane are getting married. So at their wedding, they had a seafood buffet. Ethan, the brother to Dane, does not eat buffets. Olive, the sister to Amy, is allergic to seafood. So they're the only 2 people that didn't eat the buffet. During Olive's maid of honor speech, the entire room started projectile vomiting from what happened from eating the buffet. It was like the way they wrote the scene, it was so funny. This book made me laugh out loud several times. It was so funny. So it happened that Amy wins everything, and she had this non-refundable honeymoon in Maui, and so she talked her sister Olive into going with Ethan, and Dane talked his brother Ethan into going, even though they hated each other. They went, and Christina Lauren does not put steamy scenes in their book, so if you're not comfortable reading, I'm just gonna say it's sex scenes, then this is the book for you. This is the romance novel for you. They keep it just like, they just imply that it happened, and so they it's a romance novel, so you know what happened. Did I spoil it? I think I gave too much away. Did I? I'm bad at that. I'm really bad at that. Sorry about that. I'm not telling you a lie. The dialogue was great. The dialogue was great. I thought so many different things made me laugh out loud because Amy and Olive are Hispanic, and if you've ever been around a Hispanic family, they are very, very close-knit, and they're just so funny, and everybody's in everybody's business. And so it was just a really, really good book. So I think I gave it 4 stars. I'm not positive, but I think I did. I will link my Goodreads below. Lord, Tracy came back with a video about an hour long. We got to edit this down. God bless you. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, beautiful.